PBS is sponsored by you, the viewers, for you, the viewers. Tomorrow's news today.
Oh my God. You can sit around in your ivory tower and fucking cry endlessly about commentary and things that I'm saying. Oh, Hasan Piker, we got to condemn Hasan Piker. He's like pointing to how unstable things are for the ordinary Americans. You can do that every day, but this disciplining operation is not going to take the problems away. Okay? And for the Democrats, my warning is simple. Okay? If you don't lean in to the anger that people are experiencing right now and you don't offer them an alternative and you think you can sweep these problems under the fucking rug, you are making way for more reactionary forces because Republicans love that anger bubbling up. They see that tension, they see that angst, they see that animosity, and then they redirect it back to undocumented migrants. They redirect it back to documented migrants. They redirect it back to trans people and then gay people, okay? They redirect it back to women's rights. They will take every single civil liberty away piece by piece because it's always a distraction for them. It's always red meat for their base because they are never going to solve the economic crises. They're contributing to the economic crises that people are experiencing, and they have to constantly dangle red meat in front of the dumbass fucking cult that they have cultivated. And if the Democrats don't actually respond with an alternative vision that chooses to identify these issues and solve them, we're just going to be a fucking one-state fascist country, and all of you guys are going to be in the concentration camps alongside people like myself. So you're a fucking idiot for that reason as well. This is why I also am unbelievably critical of the Democrats too, because they don't fucking fight back. They rarely ever fight back. And when they do, I give them credit, like the redistricting initiative in Virginia. I thought that was a great idea. We need more things like that. But here's a great example of the Democrats not doing that right now. In the day, after 2 months of Donald Trump illegally waging a war of choice against Iran, destabilizing the energy markets all around the world, ruining previous allegiances that this country had with other countries in the Asia-Pacific region, for example. There's supposed to be a war powers resolution that Josh Gottheimer was advancing, okay? It's not on the House schedule for today because Josh Gottheimer is advancing a different resolution instead of his Iran war powers resolution, which is already 2 months too late, okay? It's already 2 months too late. What is Josh Gottheimer, Democratic senator, or a Democrat from New Jersey, sorry. What is he doing? What is he doing instead? A bipartisan resolution from House Rep Lawler, Mike Lawler from New York, okay, whose opposition I'm boosting, Effie, as you guys know, and Josh Gottheimer from New Jersey are condemning me and Candace Owens for anti-Semitic rhetoric and conspiracy theories, and also calls on social media companies to take appropriate steps to enforce their policies against hate speech and prevent the spread of anti-Semitic content, okay? Just understand, it has just been revealed that the U.S. has already spent at least $25 billion on a war for Israel that began by killing 100-plus schoolgirls, and Congress is now voting on condemning Hasan Piker. That is unbelievable, okay? This is sincerely Democrats openly saying, hey, guess what? We are insincere. We are not serious. We are not invested in making the necessary changes in this country. We are going to advance unbelievable fucking idiotic distractions, okay? Candace Owens is a malignant force, a cancerous force in American politics. This is true. Candace Owens is unbelievably anti-Semitic. Even this resolution condemning Candace Owens is utterly fucking irrelevant right now. What the fuck are you doing? I'm not even saying this because, like, I agree with Candace Owens in any way, shape, or form. I do not. You guys know this already. I mean, I joke about being a clandestine operator because she's thrown a nuclear bomb in the discourse cycle around the Charlie Kirk assassination when the Republicans were clearly trying to whip up enough mania against the left, and she came in and said, no, it was Israel, and then a lot of people happened to believe her. So, you know, regardless of my disagreements, even on that front with Candace Owens, I jokingly say I'm a clandestine operator, right? Even though she's fucking insane. But the fact that they are even writing a resolution where they put me alongside Candace Owens to say that we're both anti-Semitic and someone has to do something about it, social media companies have to do something about it, is so disingenuous, so insincere. Okay? Hakeem Jeffries to introduce amendment to remove Candace Owens from the Hasan Piker resolution. Jesus Christ. You're joking, but that would make it a reliable yes vote. That would be bipartisan. Everyone would vote for that, just so you understand. I've talked to many people behind the scenes, okay, congresspersons, about when I saw this. I talked to my friends in the Hill, and universally, their assessment was obviously that this is ridiculous, right? And it's being done for donors. It's being done to fundraise. It's being done because I have some high-profile enemies, okay, that are aggressively pursuing this deplatforming initiative, and they're willing to pay for it, right? However, the other side of the story that's even more devastating about the way that the Democrats operate, okay, is the reality that the only way that this doesn't pass is not because the Democrats would protect me. Of course they wouldn't. And these are Democratic congresspersons who recognize that too. But luckily, Candace Owens is a part of the bill, and Republicans might shy away from attacking Candace Owens. Think about that. The actual anti-Semite in this resolution is the saving grace that might actually destroy the resolution's passage. This is the ultimate goal here. And here is the reality, by the way. People may look at this and think, man, this is an odd thing to prioritize while our country falls apart. But here's what's important to understand. Piker doesn't have a boss, and absent that, the smear campaign must escalate until he's not invited back by the New York Times or the Pod Saves guys. That's precisely what it is. Feels like they're noticing how effective his stumping for Abdul al-Sayed is, and now they're desperate for anything to disparage any Israel critic politicians. Yes, that is precisely what's going on. And if the Democrats don't realize the genuine threat that this constitutes for themselves down the line, if they fall into this bipartisanship trap and they go, yeah, you know what, we have some really violent people on our side as well, we got to deal with them, we got to do away with them, then they're basically selling themselves out. They're selling their base out once again. They're fucking endlessly manipulatable. Okay, they're endlessly malleable. They're fucking stupid. Yes, there is a bipartisan bill in Congress right now that demands the condemnation of Hasan Abi Piker, okay? Bipartisan laser light focus on material improvements to the lives of the American people exactly as they promise every 2 years. Ignore the fact that these two influencers they want to formally denounce are Israel critics, and that's totally coincidental as always. I love that this guy looked at this situation between me and Candace Owens and said, Hasan Piker is a little more than a critic of Israel. Between me and Candace Owens, I'm the one that's a bigger danger? What the fuck is happening? Candace Owens is run around with a copy of the Talmudic Jew in front of hundreds of thousands of people being like, this is how Jews are. They're contract lords. And this fucking asshole looks at that situation and goes, you know who's actually the real danger here? Hasan fucking Piker. You cannot provide material support. Congress has no business formally denouncing American citizens for their views. They should shut the fuck up and get to work. It's true. This is where we're at in the United States of America. You could spend an entire fucking career combating anti-Semitism on the internet, and as long as you're an avowed anti-Zionist, it doesn't fucking matter, okay? They will literally say, you're a bigger threat. Between me and Candace Owens, I'm the fucking more serious threat to a more serious corrosive influence on discourse. You have to be out of your fucking mind to come up with that. Oh, of course, he fucking quotes the persistence of Benny Johnson. Of course, right-wing dipshit. Oh, it's unbelievable, dude. It is so obvious what's going on, okay? It is so fucking deliberate. It is so obvious what's going on. Don't criticize Israel. If you criticize Israel, we'll make your life a living hell. We'll take away your sponsorships. Oh, you don't have any sponsorships? We'll take away your ads. Oh, you don't run any fucking ads? Well, we'll take away your platform. We'll do everything in our power. We'll hope that someone might get the right lesson. We'll activate a schizophrenic psycho to come and assassinate you, okay? That's what we'll do, because God forbid you have a large enough audience and you're an avowed anti-Zionist. You combat anti-Semitism, and you're also an anti-Zionist. You're a threat. That's what this is. And what these people don't understand is that I'm not alone, okay? I'm not alone. That the overwhelming majority of American society feel this way. So you might deplatform me, you might fucking get me killed, but at the end of the day, this problem is not going to go away for you, okay? It's not going away. People still feel this way. People know the truth. So you have to address it at some point, okay? That's it. It's unfucking believable. It's not, luckily for now, reasonable people obviously are on my side and recognize how insincere and how ridiculous this shit is. But if your goal is to punish critics of Israel, prominent critics of Israel, it's not going to fucking work, okay? You deplatform me, someone else will take my stead. You kill me, someone else, and 10 more people will prop up with the same exact opinions, okay? That's it. And guess what? There's the other side of it. You don't know what kind of opinions those people will have. You know what my opinions are, okay? You know what my goals are. You know what my assessment on the situation is. And in an environment where there is a shit ton of prominent critics of Israel who, at best, are agnostic on the issue of anti-Semitism, and at worst, absolutely utilizing the conversation around Israel to foment anti-Semitism, to target someone like myself who actively does combat anti-Semitism, is unbelievably fucking stupid. And it's exceptional because it's not true. Anyway, let's look at this fucking dumbass resolution. In the House of Representatives, Gottheimer and Lawler are doing this bipartisan bill. Lawler is a Republican from New York. I've obviously promoted Lawler's opposition, Effie. I've had her on the broadcast. Mike Lawler is in a contested seat and is most likely going to lose that seat. Okay? He's terrified of that, so he's trying to, farm as many donations as he possibly can. The resolution is condemning. Hold on. Open image in new tab. Is condemning anti-Semitic, hate-filled rhetoric and content disseminated by prominent online personalities and urging social media platforms and public leaders to denounce and address such conduct. Okay? This is the resolution. Condemning anti-Semitic, hate-filled rhetoric and content disseminated by prominent online personalities, urging social media platforms and public leaders to denounce. You know what? Let's fucking look at it in this format is better. You're right. Public leaders to denounce and address such conduct. Whereas the rise of digital media platforms has enabled individuals with large audiences to disseminate disinformation, commentary, and political viewpoints to millions of viewers worldwide. Whereas such influence carries a heightened responsibility to avoid rhetoric that promotes hatred, violence, and discrimination against any group, including Jewish individuals and communities. Whereas anti-Semitism has surged in the United States and globally in recent years, fueled in part by online disinformation, conspiracy theories, and extremist rhetoric. Once again, these guys don't remember, from their perspective, any kind of anti-Israel sentiment is anti-Semitism, right? So what they're saying is, the reason why people don't fuck with Israel anymore is because of content creators. They're stupid. They don't understand that it's not because of just content creators, okay? It's because people saw what Israel was doing, and then they dug deep and learned what Israel had been doing leading up to October 7th. They saw what Israel was doing after October 7th, and they could not believe the violence, and then they learned about what Israel had done before October 7th. That is the reason why, and they know what Israel is doing right now. That is the reason why people don't fuck with Israel, okay? Whereas anti-Semitic incidents have significantly increased, including a 344% increase over the past 5 years and an 893% increase over the past 10 years. Again, ADL's numbers, obviously. This, unfortunately, also factors in, any kind of incident revolving, even Jewish Voice for Peace doing a peaceful anti-Zionist protest in the vicinity of someone who's pro-Israel. That's how fucking stupid these numbers are. They're unbelievably misleading. In any case, anti-Semitism has increased. It's just these numbers are unfortunately ADL numbers, so we don't know what the exact numbers are. Okay? An online platform is about identifies a major vector for the spread of such hatred, whereas Hasan Piker, a prominent online streamer, has often used anti-Semitic rhetoric, including expressing support for Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization. Whereas in August 2019, during a Twitch live stream, Hasan Piker stated America deserved 9/11, whereas Hasan Piker referred to Orthodox Jews as inbred, whereas Hasan Piker downplays sexual violence committed by Hamas, a designated foreign terrorist organization against innocent civilians on October 7th, stating it doesn't matter if fucking rapes happen on October 7th. Like, that doesn't change the dynamic for me. Once again, using that out of the ironic part of that is that they're using me saying the sexual violence happening or not doesn't justify genocide, by the way, which is a perfectly normal fucking position, okay? That's not how this works. Whereas Hasan Piker has expressed support for Hamas on multiple occasions, including April 14th, 2026, stating Hamas over Israel every single time and doubling down on claims in multiple media appearances that Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel. Like, you can argue with me every day on whether you agree with this or not, okay? But what you can't do is fucking complain that this is anti-Semitic and therefore should be deplatformed. You can't, it's un-American, okay? We don't live in fucking Israel, all right? We don't live in Israel. You can't do this, all right? It is fundamentally against the principle of the First Amendment. This is precisely what the First Amendment is there to protect, okay? Oh, I don't agree with this person's assessment, and therefore he should shut the fuck up. Here's a congressional mandate to get this guy to shut the fuck up. Here's a bipartisan resolution to demand the deplatforming of one content creator that Israel doesn't fucking like. That is unbelievable. There's a Fox article that proves they had people at the event you missed yesterday. Wait, what? You're reading the Wild Fox News article? Anyway, so as you noticed, with the exception of the refers to Orthodox Jews as inbred, right? This is the only one that they can like massage. You know the context behind this. It doesn't fucking matter. I call every racist neo-Nazi group inbred because, ethnic, religious, or any kind of like nationalist supremacist movement obviously requires inbreeding. That's how you get genetic purity, right? That's why I fucking say, oh, these guys are inbred across the board for Hicks, Republicans, reactionaries of all different sorts, neo-Nazis and the like, okay? So that's the reason why I use this substitute term as a pejorative instead of something else. It doesn't fucking matter. Who cares? That's the only one that they can at least like manipulate around to imply some kind of like borderline anti-Semitic statement. I even recognize that, but it doesn't fucking matter ultimately, right? Now, if you noticed, every single other thing is foreign policy related. Every single other thing is Israel related. Okay, even the ultra-Orthodox joke that I made about fucking settlers, like inbred settlers, is Israel related, but it doesn't matter, right? Now let's look at Candace Owens. Whereas Candace Owens has employed rhetoric that has included conspiracy theories accusing Israel of controlling the United States government, promoting false claims that Jews are taught by ancient religious texts to hate non-Jews, and casting doubt on the truth of the stories of Holocaust survivors. Whereas on February 1st, 2026, Candace Owens posted on X an anti-Semitic claim that the United States is controlled by satanic pedophiles who work for Israel. Okay, like there's plenty you can hit Candace Owens on. You don't have to do the highlights where, some of them are at least like in the margins where the majority might agree with her, there are, obviously, this is unbelievably anti-Semitic, especially this, right? But like the satanic pedophiles who work for Israel is again, it's an anti-Semitic canard, but you could very easily say this is the Epstein class, you know what I mean? So, sorry. Sucks to suck, but probably not good to put in there, regardless. Whereas during a podcast appearance on December 8th, 2025, Owens repeated the false claims that Jews are killing Christian children as part of religious rituals. Like, look at this. Like that, how can you have my assessment on Israel's death and destruction campaign in the same fucking breath as this shit? Like, this is literally, this is just the blood libel. Like, this is unironically the blood libel. What the fuck? There's no comparison. You have to be insane to look at this and look at my statements and be like, look, Hamas is 1,000 times better than Israel. It's objectively a popular sentiment that is expressed by many people if they think a little bit further on this. But like comparing geopolitical assessments to literal medieval blood libel, like what the fuck are we doing? This is what I fucking... Yeah, Jews are killing Christian children as a part of religious rituals that Jewish texts and traditions promote. The sexual assault of children, which is anti-Semitic trope constituting blood libel. Whereas in July 2024, Candace Owens called for the horrific medical experiments committed by Joseph Mengele on Jews during the Holocaust. Bizarre propaganda. Continuing that some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd, downplaying and rejecting the veracity of those crimes. Whereas on February 21st, 2025, Candace Owens hosted E. Michael Jones, who claimed on her platform that Hollywood created the Holocaust narrative. Whereas the amplification of anti-Semitic narratives online can contribute to real-world harm, including harassment, intimidation, and violence against Jewish individuals, institutions, and communities. And whereas public officials, leaders, and technology companies have a responsibility to confront and condemn anti-Semitism in all of its forms, including when it appears in online discourse and influencer-driven media, now, therefore, be it resolved, that is the sense of the House of Representatives that anti-Semitic rhetoric, conspiracy theories disseminated by influential online personalities, including Hasan Piker and Candace Owens, are dangerous and contribute to a climate of hatred and intolerance. Like, they literally fucking slammed actual unvarnished anti-Semitic protocols of Elder Zion agitprop that Candace Owens is disseminating on a fucking daily basis on her lunatic broadcast to Hasan's assessment is that Israel has killed far more people than Hamas has and therefore is a far worse influence, a far more destabilizing influence in the fucking region and around the globe than Hamas ever could be. That is objective truth. You might disagree with it, and we can have a conversation on those boundaries all day, every day. I can be a very reasonable person, okay? But because they don't want to have that fucking conversation, they just turn around and say, oh, dude, this is crazy. I can't believe you're saying these things. These are unacceptable. It's a terrorist organization. It's a terrorist organization. A Democrat, mind you. This is a Democrat doing this. The same Democrat that is supposed to be, the same fucking Democrat that is supposed to be advancing the war powers resolution that is already 2 months late on Iran. And instead of that, this is the bill that they advanced this morning. Think about that. What a joke of a fucking country we're in, man. Jesus Christ. Individuals with online platforms have a responsibility to refrain from promoting or amplifying anti-Semitic narratives. Social media and streaming platforms should take appropriate steps to enforce their policies against hate speech and prevent the spread of anti-Semitic content. Public officials and community leaders should unequivocally condemn anti-Semitism, including when it's propagated by high-profile media figures or influencers. Efforts to downplay or excuse anti-Semitic rhetoric under the guise of political commentary should be rejected. And the United States reaffirms its commitment to combating anti-Semitism, ensuring the safety and dignity of Jewish individuals and communities both online and offline. Yeah, do one on Islamophobia next. Do one on Islamophobia. Think about the amount of fucking Islamophobic attacks that I receive on a daily fucking basis, that Abdul Al-Sayed receives, that Zohran Mamdani receives. Are we going to do a bill on that? No, of course not, because Islamophobia is trafficked by these very same people. Representative Josh Gottheimer, famously after October 7, blamed Islam, okay? Straight up within earshot of Muslim congressional representatives. A racist monster, a ginormous piece of shit. Fuck you. Anyway, this is them waving the white flag, folks. That's what this is, okay? Here is the silver lining, if you want to know what the silver lining in this madness actually is. Josh Gottheimer knows that the information environment is uncontrollable, okay? So they're testing out the boundaries of how much disciplining they can do with congressional resolutions like this, okay? That's it. They're trying to see if social media companies will bite on this nonsense. They know that they can't win this conversation back, but the very least they can do is, you know, buy and sell TikTok with the hopes that people stop saying mean things about Netanyahu and Israel, with the hopes that they can enforce this action upon Amazon and Twitch so that other content creators will think twice. Well, fear not. Most content creators are fucking cowards anyway, okay? Don't worry. They're already worried about their fucking corporate sponsors, okay? Don't worry about that, King. I guess that's the real problem. It's because I don't have any fucking corporate sponsors. The real problem is I'm not beholden to any corporate interest. I'm not controllable. Okay? You have a platform of this magnitude, of this size, and it's not controllable by the regular groups that have some semblance of influence over most people, because most people want to make fucking money. Okay, when they see someone who goes, no, I don't want that. I just want to say the truth. I don't give a shit. I'm backed by my fucking fans. They lose their minds. They don't know how to deal with it. They're like, whoa, this is dangerous. That's what it is. Fox News, that has not spent a fraction of the time or energy focusing on the Epstein files, is doing this. Help, the Supreme Court just gutted the Voting Rights Act and the president is threatening innocent countries with mass murder. Diet MAGA APAC Dems doing this shit. Yes, exactly. One House colleague of Lawler and Representative Josh Geimer, the gluttonous Israel First monster, Representative Fine has said far worse than Hasan Piker, and censoring Fine is actually a part of their job, but this is all about Israel, so Randy Fine is okay. Is this truly what Congress needs to spend its time doing? Yes, actually, Democrats need to loudly condemn Piker and his bullshit. Again, this person is supposed to be a fucking Democrat, okay, but probably not. They're more predisposed with condemning me rather than Candace Owens. I'm not going to weigh in on the substance, but the idea that America's legislature needs to concern itself condemning extremists at a time when the nation's at war and Congress is dysfunctional strikes me as wrong. I think they can walk and chew gum, but I hear their point. It's just like, I wish people would just stop being fucking pussies about it too, to a certain degree. You know, enough is enough. You can just say the truth, okay? I know it comes across as difficult to defend because there is a barrage of misinformation out there. And that is, in some ways, the point, right? The point is make someone indefensible in the eyes of many so that you can still behave as a partner, right? But you have to be a little bit more quiet about it, right? Just know we have reached a new level here, okay? We've reached a new level here of madness, unlike anything before. Hasan Piker no-shows pro-communist event over alleged safety fears while mocking Trump assassination attempt. Would-be fellow panelist Mohsen Mahdawi told the crowd Hasan Piker faced attacks and targeting after the assassination attempt on Trump. Yeah. I'm not the president, you fucking idiot. We don't get to have Secret Service in the events that I go to. Anyway, I'm not even going to fucking dignify that article and read. Why don't they get you to speak on Congress on this? Your name's on the bill. You should be involved. Doesn't work that way. Just like it's the same principle as to why, none of these media outlets are going to invite me to speak on the media outlets where they would rather speak over clips that they have chosen. Okay, that's not how this shit works. In this article, they pretty much confirmed they have reporters that watch the streams now. He spent much of the 6 hours reading aloud articles and expos about himself. In this article, they pretty much confirmed they have reporters that watch the stream now. Great. Great. Keep at it. Go ahead. Keep watching. Maybe your fucking mind will change, you know? This is where we're at, by the way.
Hasan
Here it
Piker.
is. Fox News covered Hasan Piker for 25 days straight. Hello, welcome to the broadcast, Fox News reporters that are in here.
Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker.
Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker.
Yeah, Fox News, subscribe to the broadcast, okay? Subscribe to the broadcast, bitch. The fuck are we doing?
Tomorrow's news today.